Marta, you're good to go.
Okay, great, thanks. Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight for the Metabolic Code System demo. Tonight we're going to demonstrate the Metabolic Code System, which contains two web-based platforms which are designed to help you streamline your approach in integrative medicine and your practice. Tonight, to start us off, we have Dr. Andrew Heyman to present the Metabolic Code Assessment through our Air Support System. Dr. Heyman is co-founder of Metabolic Code Enterprises and co-developer of the Air Support platform. I'm Marta Graham, registered dietitian and director of Wellness Information Services for the Metabolic Code, and I'll be presenting our lifestyle tool, the Lifestyle Guidance Portal. We'll break for questions after each presentation, so please raise your hand or enter a question into the chat box, and I'll go ahead and either unmute you or read your question. I encourage you to stay to the very end to hear our special offer to try one or both of these tools. Dr. Heyman?
All right, great. Thanks so much. You know, everybody, I'm really delighted that you're on with us tonight. The system is really a representation of many, many years and many experts worth of work with respect to trying to improve the quality of care that practitioners such as ourselves provide. And we understand that there's a tremendous amount of complexity to the kind of medicine that we practice, the enormous amount of variables that we have to address, and really trying to personalize the care we provide to patients. It's an incredible challenge, actually, and I know that all of us are early adopters. We embrace this sort of challenge, and we often see the results of this kind of approach to care in our own practices. But with that being said, none of us can really keep up on all of the latest information, and none of us are good at everything. And so what this system is designed to do is to provide a point of care support for practitioners such as ourselves that are looking for real-time help with respect to organizing information, developing personalized care plans, and supporting our patients over time to be successful. Point of care really is sort of the word of the day when it comes to the Metabolic Code System, meaning that the data that's generated, the personalized profiles that are created, and the ongoing support that patients receive is all in real time. And so nothing is really rote. There's nothing kind of preformed in a sense. What this system does is actively aggregate data and use algorithms to identify where that individual is most imbalanced and to generate a plan that makes sense for that individual. The Metabolic Code System is really divided into two sides. One is the personalized assessment tool, and then the other is the Lifestyle Guidance Portal. I'll be talking a bit more in depth on the first aspect, which is the assessment tool. And this makes sense because it's where we begin as practitioners, and that is to say we collect information. We live in an age of information. The amount of information that we can collect is growing. And if we're really honest with ourselves about that process, it's complicated, it's difficult to some degree, and some data points are more meaningful than others. So how do we take all this information and personalize it for the care plan of our patient? Well, that's what the personalized assessment tool does. It is a very sophisticated platform that collects data from your patient. And there are two sources of information. One is self-report, so a qualitative survey, and this can take about 15 minutes for your patients to complete. It's incredibly thorough and quite accurate, and there's about 180 questions or so that are part of the survey that begin to look at the symptomatic dimensions of the patient's illness experience. It's extensive, but it's incredibly helpful. And we use it as a way of better identifying what are the systems that are most symptomatic, that are expressing the most imbalances in terms of how patients are feeling. But obviously, and for many of us, that's not enough. We need more information than that. And so the system also aggregates objective data. These are the blood markers. It's a blood draw, essentially, that analyzes many assays or metabolites across the patient's physiologic spectrum. And those two data sets together are then run through the metabolic code assessment algorithm set. We have about 16,000 algorithms and 4,000 modifiers. And yes, you heard me correctly. There are thousands and thousands of decision points that this system weights, analyzes, correlates, and produces a assessment of where that person's metabolism is today. And for many of you who've seen myself and Jim Laval lecture, we organize it across what we call our triads. And these are really sort of a systems biology approach to how we look at physiology. And that is to say, we don't want to look at a marker in isolation. We don't even want to look at a single body system in isolation. We want to look at a system of systems. And we know that there are certain processes in the body that are so tightly tied together that you really shouldn't look at them separately. And so we have these 5 domains or subsystems of the person's metabolism that begin to refine our understanding of where that individual is at. All of this is based on the most current evidence, and we use those algorithms to weight that evidence and better understand exactly where the greatest imbalances are within each of these 5 areas. And so you can see on this sample patient report the 5 domains or triads, and each domain is comprised of 3 elements, which is why they're called triads. The first triad, or T1, is composed of cortisol, thyroid, and insulin, the relationship between blood sugar, metabolism, and stress. The second triad is gut, immune, brain, and this has to do with the direct functional and anatomical relationships between the digestive tract, immune system, and the central and even peripheral nervous system and autonomic nervous system. The third is cardiopulmonary neurovascular. This is really the relationship between the brain and the heart. If you look at the area of neurocardiology, there's a very strong interdependence between the central nervous system and the heart and cardiovascular system. The fourth is liver, lymph, kidney, which are our drainage organs. So this has to do with our ability to sort of live safely in the world with respect to exposures and toxins and whether or not we can absorb and process and metabolize and eliminate them properly. And then the fifth are reproductive hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, which of course in our training we spend a lot of time looking at. So all of these areas together comprise the fundamental aspects of the patient's health. And what we do then is use the algorithms to rank order which triads are the most imbalanced, and that draws attention to where we begin with our treatment plan. We typically recommend that anything that has a total aggregate score of above 500, which is the aggregate of both the self-report and lab data, means that there's a serious or significant imbalance, and that's the triad or first 2 triads that you should really address. In this patient, it's adrenal, thyroid, pancreas, as well as cardiopulmonary neurovascular. So this is a patient who's probably overweight, under stress, hyperlipidemic, hypertensive, at risk for heart disease and diabetes. And all of us know this, as we look at our patients in our practices, when we see that cardiometabolic risk walk in the door, but this helps organize all that information, rank it, tell you where the imbalances are, and say, okay, this is where we should begin. So here we have part of the result of the report, and that is to say not just organizing the data and ranking it, but actually making suggestions to say, here are a variety of dietary supplements and herbs and other strategies to rebalance that disordered metabolism. And while the report will generate these recommendations, again, based on those algorithms, as the practitioner, you can select how many of the triads you want to address. In this patient's case, you can see if you look about halfway down or so, there's magnesium glycinate, and there's 5 little triangles there, which means that the magnesium has a direct impact on all 5 triads, which means that the report is generating recommendations across all 5. But you can select the first 2 that are imbalanced, triad 1 and triad 3, and pull out those particular supplements and say, you know, patient so-and-so, I'd really like you to start with this subset of recommendations to really focus on those areas that are most imbalanced. And we spent a lot of time linking these metabolic disturbances to strategic recommendations, and we want to have the smallest list possible that does the most good for the individual. As you can imagine, that is an enormously complicated task from a programming and technology perspective, but the assessment tool is enormously complicated, but it's also quite vetted, it's very accurate, and what it does, obviously, is it takes a lot of information and it helps to organize it in a way where you now have a framework to understand what's going on with the patient, as well as a language and an approach to understand that patient, and a very clear path to restoring health in that individual. Now, we also know that it's not enough just to recommend dietary supplements. Even if you're incredibly precise and accurate in terms of the imbalances, you really also have to focus on their lifestyle issues too. And that means diet and exercise. So there's a second part of the program that Marta will discuss, which is the Lifestyle Guidance Portal. And what she's showing right now, if you just go back 1 slide, this is just one other element of the report for the patient, and that is for the first 2 triads that are the most imbalanced, it will have a deeper exposition or review in prose of all of the elements of that triad. So for this patient, they qualify for triad 1, so you're going to see printouts included in the report on adrenals, thyroid, and pancreas. It'll also, in this particular individual, include triad 3, so cardiopulmonary neurovascular. You can see there's some nice graphics, quite a lot of detail, and this is just one piece to that information puzzle. It turns out that the total report for that particular patient will on average be about 45 pages. So this report goes into great detail, layer after layer, looking at not just aggregate imbalances, but also subsections of the report on what were the results on just the biological markers, what were the results on just the survey, what were some general markers that we need to draw attention to, and then what's the plan. So that's how we get to the 45 pages. It's incredibly extensive, very information rich. It's something that you can send your patients home with, and it's a roadmap, essentially, that they can understand and begin their journey back towards health. So go ahead and you can go to the next slide. So again, we know that patients can stuff their mouth full of pills and potions and rub on creams and lotions, but that's really not enough to get them better. They have to fundamentally work on improving healthy behaviors, sustaining those behaviors over time, and begin engaging in daily decisions that improve their health on a fundamental level. And that's where the Lifestyle Guidance Portal shines, because it's a system that includes functions that support diet and exercise and encourages healthy change over time. So Marta's going to talk about the details of the Lifestyle Guidance Portal.
Great, thank you. I did want to take a brief pause for questions if anybody has questions about myearsupport.com. I just wanted to show you the platform. As a practitioner, you would have access to this platform with unlimited patients being able to register on the platform. And this is where the patient would go to take the questionnaire. The labs are integrated into our system. The practitioner has a login for the practice and can view patients and view their results here, as well as release the results to the patient electronically. So I know Dr. Heyman mentioned the 45-page report. That does not have to be printed. It is available electronically off of this platform here. So any questions at the moment? And if not, I can move on to the Metabolic Code Lifestyle Guidance Portal. We're good. All right. So just back to the PowerPoint for a minute here. As Dr. Heyman mentioned, the Lifestyle Guidance Portal is our tool to implement lifestyle changes for our patients, and we know that no amount of supplements are able to remedy the root issues in their metabolism if they do not change stress, diet, exercise, hydration, and so on. And so the Metabolic Code Diet is our highlighted program, diet program in the Lifestyle Guidance Portal. I'm actually going to go there and show you in just a moment. And there are videos for instructions for exercise. There's tracking for food. There's basically a browser-enabled app for your iPad or tablet or iPhone or Android phone. There's daily messaging for the patient, between the patient and practitioner, and tracking, one-click tracking as well, making it really easy for the patient to be on track and really be able to reach some goals. So anyway, I'm just going to go back to the actual portal. Bear with me here. And I'm going to log in as a practitioner. And I'll also show you the patient view. So this is a communication tool between the patient and practitioner, and can be used to the extent that you feel you have the capabilities and time for your practice. At the very least, the educational tools that are available here, and the education not only for the patient but for the practitioner, including our monographs, all of our metabolic code health condition, reference charts for drug-induced nutrient depletion, herbs, nutraceuticals and drugs, vitamin mineral monographs, as well as nutraceuticals and herbs can be found here on the Metabolic Code Lifestyle Guidance Portal. So think of it too as another place to get more information about the triads, about how all this works together. So the practitioner view, each practitioner will have their own brand, and so right now this is branded for us because we're using this as a demo, but you would have your logo as a practitioner. You would also have access to all of our wellness plans. The metabolic code plans that are in this system are our proprietary metabolic diet plans. These are clinically proven, and we've used these in our clinic here that Jim Laval had in Cincinnati, as well as it's being used out in California in Jim's Progressive Medical Clinic. Basically, from a diet standpoint, I'm going to put on my dietitian hat for just a moment, but our diets are low glycemic load and index. They're anti-inflammatory, and they're, if you would say, a elimination diet where we eliminate most of the common allergens to really determine what is it in the patient's diet that is preventing them from being efficient metabolically and losing weight. You know, anything, you know, we know that inflammation is really the root, and that gut health is imperative for health. So we know that death begins in the gut, so to speak. So here we have these wonderful diet plans that are very easy to follow for patients. It's a template of you know, high protein, lots of vegetables, organic meats if possible. And the patient can follow these from an email, or they can actually log in and look at their phone, whatever is easiest for them. So these are available in the Metabolic Code. The patient also gets many resources by just clicking on these tabs that accompany the diet plan. So anything that they'd want to know, they can also download the diet plans if they're not computer savvy, as well as substitute many, many different meals on the plan. So the first phase is about 8 weeks long. I'm sorry, not 8 weeks, 2 weeks long. And then the patient can transition to phase 2 where they start to reintroduce. But that's just a little, I guess, peek at the Metabolic Code Diet. Again, it's very useful for many, many health conditions. It does help to stabilize blood sugar. It supports anti-inflammatory regimen of eating as well. Not only that, but we also have exercise programs, and I was just going to show you a preview of an intermediate plan quickly and preview that. All of the programs have videos, and the patient can click on the videos to see the exercise and how it's done properly. Okay, so again, I'm just going to go back to here, the dashboard. Again, the patient has, or I'm sorry, the practitioner has resources about the diet itself, the overview, the phases. They can also pick some of other diets that are inherent in the portal that are not Metabolic Code branded, should they like to do that. Again, the different phases of the diet, food elimination charts, how to reintroduce foods, and then the actual PDFs themselves, okay, are available here. So I'll just close that. Okay, I'm going to transition quickly over to one of our patient records. The patient can track their diet, and once a diet is assigned to the patient, it's as simple as clicking a button saying, I ate this. And that will show up in the practitioner's view of the patient. So the practitioner can look at this patient and see how they're doing, what they're tracking. And we can see that today this patient tracked the meals as they were. And all this was populated by a one click of that button that I just showed you. They can create saved meals. They can do favorite foods. As you can see, this patient, we'll load in just a second, has some favorite foods. And they can also create a mobile, or actually access it in a mobile view. Sometimes that's a little slow. Just go here to the mobile view. So not only can the patient track diet and exercise, they can also track activity. So this would be a iPad view, if you will, or a phone view. They can look at their program the same way we just looked at it. So I'm just emulating what it would look like on the iPad or iPhone. They can, again, click, I ate this. They can pick the meal that they ate it for. Let's say they just had it for a snack. And then they can go ahead and make changes if they like. So this is what it would look like on a mobile interface. Okay. The patient can also track any kind of anthropometric measurements or vitals, blood pressure, also resting heart rate, body fat. Any of these things can be tracked. They can also track exercise, or if they want to determine, how many calories am I going to expend if I do leg lifts for 30 minutes, which is kind of unrealistic, but they could do running or anything they want. They can choose aerobics and then calculate how many calories. So just a nice little tool. So that's an overview of the Metabolic Code Lifestyle Guidance Portal. I want to return back to our PowerPoint. Like I said, the webinars that we provide, you can learn the science behind the metabolic code, behind the triads, behind the diet. We have bi-monthly nutrition webinars by Laura LaBelle, registered dietitian. The monographs I showed you on the portal just then. Also, we have product info on all our supplements. And as I mentioned earlier, the portal can be branded, the lifestyle guidance portal can be branded for your practice. Currently, we do have a 30-day free trial for Air Support, which is the assessment tool that Dr. Heyman reviewed, and the Lifestyle Guidance Portal. If you choose to try Air Support on its own, again, you do get 30 days, and then it becomes $199 per month, billed monthly. If you choose to do both, the system together is $348 per month. The Lifestyle Guidance Portal itself is $249 per month, and that's the discounted rate. So right now you can go ahead and try this. We will offer you unlimited training. Libby Bricker and myself are the trainers, and we will assist you from anything from helping your patient log on to the system, how to take the questionnaire, how to find the questionnaire once it's completed, how to assign a diet, how to assign exercise, how to track, any of those things. We offer not only an educational webinar to get you started as an orientation, but then any type of help that you need ongoing, we will provide that for you. And I just wanted to go to that page to show you how you can sign on or sign up. So you can come here and you can click metabolicCode.com. Make sure you type in https metabolicCode.com. Join now. Click Air Support to start your field free trial. And it doesn't matter which one you choose first, but if you choose Air Support, you can append Lifestyle Guidance Portal after you put your credit card in. It'll give you the offer. It says if you're interested, you can add it after you click Submit. So that is a Lifestyle Guidance Portal. That's how you access both Lifestyle Guidance Portal and Air Support for a month. And with that, I encourage you to take the offer for the free trial and let us know. If you'd like an individual training, you could email us at info@metaboliccode.com. Again, that's info@metaboliccode.com. And now I'll just open it up for questions. Anyone have questions? Lindsay, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can still hear you.
Okay, great. It was just real quiet. I wanted to make sure people were still there. Okay, looks like we don't have any questions.
Actually, we do have one here.
Oh, okay.
Can information from exercise devices, example of a Fitbit, be integrated into this platform?
Not at this point, but we're always looking how to improve the platform. And I know that there are some changes up and coming. So that is something that I could determine by talking to the author of the platform, the developer. But I know that they're always looking at those things.
Great. And I do have another question. How does this integrate with an EMR?
Currently, there's no integration where they communicate seamlessly. However, there is the ability to upload the metabolic code assessment report to the patient's EMR record. There can also be a link from the EMR where the patient can go ahead and take this questionnaire, and once the questionnaire is completed and the results are produced, that practitioner can upload it to their record. So it does integrate in that way. And it's not meant to be an EMR, it's just meant to be truly a tool that would assist the practitioner in the care of that patient and streamline the care, if that answers your question.
So, Marta, I don't have any additional questions at this time.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. And please contact us if you'd like more information. Have a great evening.